From the track star falling for a massive scam by Kingston-based Stocks and Securities Limited, to his legal team moving to press civil and criminal charges, here's everything you need to know about how Usain Bolt just lost $12 million. Now, if you're not aware, Bolt's lawyer announced in January that the track star had fallen victim to a massive fraud. As for what exactly happened, in January 2023, his attorneys claimed that a colossal amount of money, $12 million to be exact, vanished from his account held with a private Jamaican investment firm, leaving behind a mere $12,000. Bolt, who's known for his lightning-fast speed, unfortunately couldn't outrun this financial nightmare. The account had a big portion of his retirement and life savings, so you can only imagine how devastating it must have been. Apparently, the fraud happened at the very place Bolt had been investing for over a decade, a Kingston-based company called Stocks and Securities Limited (SSL), and was alerted to the authorities through a former employee. This was confirmed by his manager, Nugent Walker. What's worse, Bolt's team had entrusted their entire portfolio to the institution, giving the criminal access to all his information, making it a huge blow. But before we look into what happened, we have to talk about the track star's financial background. Now, everybody knows that competitive sports aren't the easiest things in the world. And if you're training your whole life just to see the finish line, you should probably be getting paid for it too. The same goes for Usain Bolt. Throughout his unbelievable career, the legend has definitely broken records on the track. But along with that, he's also racked up some serious cash. Bolt retired back in 2017, has a whopping net worth of about $90 million, and while he was at his peak, he was the highest paid athlete in the world, earning $20 to $30 million every year. But when you think about it, can you make all that money just from sprinting? Well, you can't. But Bolt did, because he's not just a master of speed, but also brand deals. Turns out, the world number ones had some pretty lucrative partnerships over the years, with some of the biggest brands on the planet like Puma, Gatorade, Hublot, and Visa. So even if he's first at the finish line, this is where most of his wealth comes from. But of course, that doesn't mean his prize money's anything to scoff at. Over the course of his career, Bolt's won a staggering 19 Olympic and 11 World Championship gold medals, each carrying a pretty hefty prize. According to reports, the Olympic gold prize is almost worth $40,000, so you can be sure that medals weren't the only things he was sprinting towards. But as some would say, earning's the easy part. It's saving that's hard. And so goes for every athlete out there. You see, if athletes don't take precautions, their high-flying careers can be over in the blink of an eye, leaving their fortunes vanishing, just like Bolt down the racetrack. And it's not just him. Many athletes have faced financial troubles, like Mike Tyson, Allen Iverson, and Kurt Schilling. Really, it could take anything, from lavish lifestyles, shady advisors, to poor investment decisions to leave you high and dry. So while being on top of the world is pretty impressive, making sure you're safe up there is important too. But unfortunately for Bolt, the money's already gone, which means it's time to seek answers to the public's burning questions. The big one being, how did such a big amount simply vanish? Was it really just fraud, or is there more than meets the eye? Some on the internet speculated that it could be an inside job, but others think it could be part of something bigger, with even more victims. The biggest claim right now is that the fraud was organized by people within the firm. According to this theory, certain employees or insiders intentionally manipulated the accounts, diverting the money for personal gain. And looking at the insane amount of money involved, along with the apparent lack of security, it doesn't seem that far-fetched. The second popular theory is that Bolt's case is just the tip of the iceberg, with there being a much deeper financial scam involving multiple clients of SSL. According to this theory, fraud was carried out in a pretty organized way within the firm, targeting high-profile individuals like Bolt, whose large investments made them prime targets. And if this is true, the case could go far beyond SSL. But with all that said, what exactly is the truth? Well, that's what investigators are trying to answer. And luckily for Bolt, his attorneys aren't leaving any stone unturned. During a legal conference, Bolt's attorney, Linton P. Gordon, was pretty vocal about the seriousness of the situation, stressing that the criminals will be held accountable. And as Bolt's team looks for answers, the legal battle promises to be nothing less than intense. But besides that, the track star seems to be having it easy on the public side of things. In the middle of the chaos, many fans have rallied around the Olympian, offering words of support and encouragement. Many people took to social media to express their disappointment about the renowned athlete being targeted, after doing so much for his country. But I guess even that can't save you from scammers. And it's not just his own fans either, but other athletes too. Because the tragedy served as a big wake-up call for other sportsmen to be careful about their hard-earned money. And as for Bolt's own reaction, the track legend seemed to be taking it pretty hard. After tweeting about his disappointment, along with a picture on his Instagram where he claimed that money was the root of all evil. But despite this, Bolt told reporters that he hasn't lost faith yet, as he plans to leave the case in his lawyer's hands and focus on his family first, because he doesn't want them to be affected by the stressful situation. Bolt also added that he's been going through a tough few weeks, and that he's doing everything he can to recover the amount. The runner even added some humor, saying he wasn't exactly broke and could still afford to live well. Not only that, Bolt put the rumors about his country to rest as well, saying that no matter what, Jamaica will always remain his country. But now that the paint is dry, what's actually being done to recover the money? Well, fortunately for the track star, Jamaican financial authorities were quick to be on the scene, immediately launching an investigation into the private investment firm SSL, where Bolt held his account. Not only that, a special auditor was hired as well, working closely with Jamaica's Financial Services Commission, the FSC, to scrutinize all transactions at the SSL. Bolt also has the support of Jamaican Prime Minister Andrew Holness, who announced that his administration would not be bailing out the company, so that Bolt and the other victims could receive justice. Meanwhile, the Jamaica Constabulary Force's fraud and financial investigation teams are working hard to uncover what really happened. The investigation goes deep, to say the least, even beyond Bolt's own account, as many other SSL clients have also reported missing funds, suggesting the issue may be way bigger than it seems. Now, while the investigation unfolding is definitely good news, there's still a huge cloud of uncertainty over Bolt's financial future. You see, $12 million is no small deal, especially considering that Bolt is long past his prime and doesn't have the means to earn like he used to. Not only that, money represents a huge part of his life, built on years and years of hard work. So to lose it all in just a few days is pretty heart-wrenching. And as everyone hopes for the best, it's important to understand what might happen next. As Bolt's legal team's 10-day deadline for the return was crossed, they've decided to take civil and criminal action. And as the investigation goes on, any evidence of fraud or criminal activity being found could result in intense legal proceedings. Unfortunately, though, there hasn't been much progress so far as of March, and the financial authorities, along with the special auditor, are still trying to trace the funds. As for SSL, the institution is still under heavy scrutiny, with its clients being redirected to the Financial Commission for questions. While the situation does seem terrible, there's still hope for justice. Bolt's legal team, supported by financial authorities and law enforcement agencies, is pretty determined to recover the funds. Not only that, the pressure on SSL to cooperate with the investigation and address the concerns raised by Bolt's attorney is only increasing with time. Needless to say, we can expect more twists and turns in the coming weeks, as Bolt's legal team swears to play all its cards to recover the lost funds and restore faith in the financial institutions which are supposed to protect athletes' earnings. And so, from his legal team moving to press civil and criminal charges, to the track star falling for a massive scam by Kingston-based Stocks and Securities Limited, this was everything you needed to know about how Usain Bolt just lost $12 million.